just have the nonprofits with me. Is that all we need?
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so I think we're ready to start, even though we may have just Aaron missing, and he'll probably join us, I'm guessing, here before long. So, welcome everybody. Hopefully we'll have a productive meeting and get through all these. But let's start with a few what we might call housekeeping things, and let's take a look at the minutes. I believe you received those via email this morning, and so let's consider those for approval. Are there any questions or changes that need to be made there? Pretty straightforward. There wasn't a lot there because the bulk of the meeting was spent in executive session. Okay, hearing none, let's consider those approved by consensus. And I'm just going to give, in these meetings and these days, Tina, I'm going to always give you a chance if there are any updates that you think would be helpful for the task force to hear. If not, that's fine, but I'll give you a chance first.
Well, I just have a question. Swindle, Jansen, Hawk, and Lloyd said that they would like to receive, like if the school districts have sent their spreadsheet and their invoices. I mean, I think we have a couple that did. Does Swindle Jansen have those?
They do not. I spoke with John this morning and he gave me, he sent me all the new updated worksheets and explained to me how they want me to do the schools and the cities. So tonight or tomorrow I will plug those in and then send them. And it's Gossel and Hillsborough. And then I also have City of Marion. I believe you got those as well. Do you want me to send those along, or do you want to do those?
I thought that each entity was filling out their own spreadsheet and then just sending the bills.
They
should be.
That's
They
what
are.
we need them to do.
They are. They don't have, the school districts don't have the spreadsheet that is needed. Does that make sense?
Okay, then we probably need to get them that
Okay.
spreadsheet.
So let me offer a little bit of clarification. I
But
think I can
Marion
offer
did
some.
theirs, did their spreadsheet. The city of Marion sent a spreadsheet.
I can give that to everybody.
Aaron, I think he just said he emailed those out to everyone.
The new ones, Aaron?
Well, which new ones? We've had about 6 sets.
The most recent forwarded email I sent to you, and I think I.
Yesterday, well, I did not send them out yet.
So that would be the ones I believe Christine's talking about, and I apologize on behalf of all the people that we have no control over that these things keep changing, but I don't know what to do about that.
Why do they keep changing?
I don't have an answer to that either, Aaron, I'm sorry.
It's awful frustrating.
I understand, and I don't.
That's Kansas.
And so then, so let me offer some words of clarification here, and I'm sure I'm missing something, but I've been thinking about this until I think I can, at least for the purposes of our task force, I can bring us into some common ground. The original plan, honestly, I thought, was all this information would go to SJH&L, and they would do all the data entry from there. That has changed to some extent, off and on. I think they're still pretty committed to making sure the master submission is in place, and then Janine gets the chance to look at that as carefully as she'd like to, or in the in-between time, Janine gets to do that as well as the treasurer. Ultimately, if the commissioners don't approve it, it doesn't get sent anyway, but obviously Janine is kind of the last clearinghouse for all of that gets sent to the state. So I understand why the accounting firm has has sort of changed their posture on this. At least from my reading of the letter of agreement, they've changed their posture. And Tina, I pointed this out to you. I understand why. I think that unbeknownst to them when this started, they bit off more than they could chew, and maybe we all did. Although I think our task force has handled our part really well. So great job.
Thanks to all these people.
Yeah.
I don't know, there's a bunch of people working hard.
So great job. But, so they've had to try to divide and conquer. And so they're trying to delegate some of that work that I had originally interpreted to be work that they would do. They've had to delegate that out. So in addition to that, the state of Kansas has made, as you know, if you've been following this, quite a few changes, not only to function, but to form. And so,
I am so shocked.
yeah. And so every time they make a change to form, both the accounting firm and we have to adapt accordingly. We don't have a choice. I'll let you ask questions as soon as I summarize this. Thanks, Lloyd. Write those down if you're going to forget those thoughts. That's what I do. I always am doing that. And then on top of that, then SJH&L in their minds, and I agree with them, just like in our minds, we would think that there's flexibility for how they do their part of it, both in function, less so in function, but certainly in form. And so they have, in their minds, thought to themselves, at the end of the day, what will make it easier for us if we receive the data in this particular format, in this particular organizational structure? And they came out with something, albeit late, so I had already sent something out because Aaron and I felt like we couldn't wait anymore. And so so Aaron, then you sent what I had designed out, and I was taking what I had at the time and designing something. And then SJH&L brought to the table a modification of that, and Aaron sent it to the schools. And now they brought yet another modification of that. For us, it's the third modification. In their minds, it's the second. And so now they're asking Aaron to send this to the schools and ask them to do it again. So my guess is, and Christine, I don't want to put words in your mouth, and if I'm anticipating wrong, just correct me. My guess is what Christine is thinking to herself is, instead of Aaron having to bulldog yet a third modification of a spreadsheet, Christine's probably thinking, let them send it in the way it is now, and I'll do the transfer of the data to the actual spreadsheet that SJH&L wants. Am I reading you right, Christine?
Correct. And that's what John would prefer.
And so, but the truth is, if they would send it in on the spreadsheet that's the actual one, then you wouldn't have to do much.
I know.
So Aaron, what do you think? Should we try to bulldog it one more time, or what?
Whatever gets things done the quickest is the way I want to do it.
Well, that will get it
you
done
know-
the quickest on our end. I don't know about on their end though.
Right.
I
I
think if we
I don't know
receive the
either,
information.
Russell.
Let's let Aaron finish,
I'm
and
sorry.
then Anthony, then Deidre, then Lloyd. Go ahead, Aaron. Sorry.
It's a very frustrating process, and I appreciate the work that everybody's done. But man, it's just like we keep beating our head against a wall. You know, we get something done, no, you gotta do it this way. No, we get something else done, no, you gotta do it this way. And I realize we're all learning on this. And you know, I guess part of my frustration is I visit with other folks from other counties, and they don't have the frustration I do. So, you know, and I don't know how they did it or how it worked better or quicker, but it seems like we're within 2 months of being able not to dole out anything.
Yeah, I hear you.
To me, it's scary.
Anthony, what was your?
I think
Into the microphone, please.
if Christine's got the information to fill out the new forms, I think we should fill it out for this time and then send out the new forms for the next go around.
Okay. Deidre, what were you gonna?
So you've got some from some schools,
Correct.
but not from others. So the ones she hasn't gotten it from, why don't we have them fill out the new form because I don't know how your time is, like, you're getting paid whatever, but have you spent more time than what you thought? I mean, I'm just saying.
And my time actually, and Rusty and I spoke about this, my time actually, it's balanced itself out, because there's some days, there was even a week and a half when I didn't have anything to do.
Okay, well, I
mean,
just
so
wanna
it's
make
been
sure you're
balanced
getting paid for,
So anyone on the electronic call, you probably can't hear Deidre, but her suggestion was that for schools that have already submitted, that we go ahead and change the data into the new form, and for ones that have not, that they be sent the correct form to take care of for this submission. And then the rest of the schools be sent the correct form to use for the next submission.
Thanks, Tina. Lloyd, what was your question?
You want to get back to when you were explaining it, what is driving this? Is this an interpretation by the accountants? Or is the state, as they get further into it, they go, okay, we need this information, then we need that? Is that how that?
I think
That's what's coming, where
It's
it's
coming,
coming from?
okay, this is federal money,
Right.
so anytime they change their mind, the state has to change their mind.
So we're just
So it's just a
changing
truck,
this.
yeah.
It's probably the state's interpretation, and then the federal government saying, no, that's not the right interpretation.
I'm
Kansas-
thinking you got it
Kansas
right
has
there.
the tendency to not interpret federal rules properly, and that's, because not every state constantly flip-flops. And we do, it doesn't matter whether it's this or anything else.
So yeah, I think those are good responses to your question, Lloyd. And I think part of Aaron's frustration, though, isn't centered in any of that. I think it's centered in this. The state would allow us to cut schools a check without any documentation. And some counties, I'm guessing,
We're doing
have
it.
said yes to that. Our county commissioners have said no to that. And I think that's where at least some part of what Aaron's hearing other superintendents are saying versus what he and his colleagues in Marion County are experiencing is the difference. Not the only difference, but it's one, and it's a significant difference. That's what, that would be what I would anticipate. I wanna mention that in terms of Deidre's suggestion, I don't have any problem with that as a suggestion, but going forward, just know that, so that's Gossel and Hillsborough, right?
Yes.
Okay, but going forward, just know that Gossel and Hillsborough are going to have to then start using the new one. And so then what I wonder, Aaron, is if you were to craft an email, send it out to all of them and say, for those of you who have turned in your first report, don't worry about making any changes there. But for those of you who haven't turned one in, and for everyone who's going to be turning one in the weeks to come, please use this spreadsheet as the most recent version of the spreadsheet. And then if Christine gets something on a dated spreadsheet, just have her do the work and not reach back out. How does that sound, Aaron?
I can do that.
Okay. Are we good with that then, Tina? Do you feel okay about
I
that?
think so, but I would like, Christine, when you submit something to Swindle Jansen that's an expense report, I would like you to CC myself and or Janine on it, because we need to be aware when those are going in so that we can be planned for the payment.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah, that would help a lot.
that would help.
Yes.
And Christine, I heard you commit to, by the end of this day or night, because I know you work at night a lot, you'll get Gossel and Hillsborough
Yes.
submitted.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I'll transfer Hillsborough stuff into the new.
Christine,
ones.
didn't you get something from us?
What about Mary and Christine, Aaron's
Oh,
asking?
yes, Marion too. Yes, I knew there was another,
Okay.
but I lump you into Hillsborough. I don't know why. I'm so sorry.
I bet
I'm
he's
sorry.
really excited
I'm
to hear
sorry.
that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We'll
Please
take you,
forgive
Aaron.
me.
We'll take
She
you.
lives in Gossel, we'll forgive her.
I know. I live behind
Oh,
Gossel.
about stress, I'm sitting there thinking, I know we said that a couple weeks ago.
Sorry.
Anthony, something else, or
I'm good.
Tina, anything else that you want to report on right now, or shall we move on?
So we can move on.
Okay.
Thank you for getting that clarified, because I just wanted to make sure we know where we are with things.
Absolutely. So I want to make a motion. I want to move that we recess into executive session in order to review grant applications, pursuant to KSA 754319B Article 4 to protect data relating to financial affairs or trade secrets of corporations, partnerships, trusts, and individual proprietorships with the committee and Christine Flaming, present until 3:30 p.m. with open session to resume in this room following the closed session. And I want to reserve the right that if at 3:30 we don't get far enough, we'll move back into executive session again.
Do you want
Tina is not, she's not going to be able to join us today.
If you have questions and you need technical assistance, you can invite me in at that time, and you just need to announce it when you come out.
Okay, no worries. So that's a motion. Is there a second?
Yes, second.
Anthony seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll now move into executive session. Tina, if you would prepare the technology for us, that would be
I will do that. We'll be back on the public meeting at 3:30.
As approved and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah, the one that disappeared.
Okay, everything is on. I'm just gonna start the recording. I'm sorry.
It should
This
still be on
conference
email.
will now be recorded.
Okay, so we're coming out of executive session to go back into executive session. So I move that we recess again into executive session in order to review grant applications pursuant to KSA 754319B Article 4 to protect data relating to financial affairs or trade secrets of corporations, partnerships, trusts, and individual proprietorships with the committee and Christine Flaming plus John Albrecht at one point for questioning on a conference call. And that will be until 4:30 p.m. with open session to resume in this room following the executive session. That's the motion. Is there a second?
Yes.
Randy seconds. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll move back into executive session.
Camera's coming on.
Smile.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so we're coming out of another executive session, but we still have executive work to do. So I'm going to make the same motion that we've made the last two times to go back into executive session, and I'll read it. The motion is that we recess into executive session in order to review grant applications pursuant to KSA 754319B Article 4 to protect data relating to financial affairs or trade secrets of corporations, partnerships, trusts, and individual proprietorships with the committee and Christine Fleming until 4:45 p.m. With open session to resume in this room following the executive session. It's been moved. Is there a second?
Lloyd.
Lloyd seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll move back into executive session.
Okay, back at 12:45.
Thank you.
And we will.
And you guys, when we get ready to, when we're done,
That's what needs
I
to
don't
be
want to come
voted.
across.
Longest phone call ever. 2 hours and 23 minutes.
I saw that.
And you enjoyed every minute.
I almost made it
This
in without
conference will
having
now be recorded.
to. Okay, we're gonna,
I didn't know they'd work for this long.
it's 4:45 p.m. We're coming out of executive session now, and we're going to proceed with some action items. The first motion is to approve the Peabody Community Foundation and the Hillsborough Kiwanis Club to receive a Marion County Spark Grant contingent on the Marion County Board of County Commissioners. Approval as outlined in the funding allocation document that will be entered into public record. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Got a second. Okay, you gotta have a second. Made a motion.
I'm
gotta have a
sorry.
second.
Let me back up. We need a second.
I'll second it.
Randy seconds.
This is discussion.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0-1. The next motion is the exact same, except for it's the Marion Country Club. Deidre seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0-1. The next motion is exactly the same, but it's for Tabor College.
I make that motion.
That's a second by Aaron. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Aye. Motion carries 6-0-1. The next motion is the same except for it's the Hillsborough American Legion. Is there a second?
Second it.
Anthony seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0-1. The final motion is the same, but it's for all the remaining business and nonprofit grant applicants that the task force has identified. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Randy seconds. All those in, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? In that case, the motion carries 7-0-0. And that's all the action items for today. And that brings our meeting to adjournment.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron.